Hi and welcome to our lesson on finding decimal percentages of amounts. To find 10% of an amount, we divide by 10. To find 1%, we divide by 100. To find 0.1%, we divide by 1000. Here's an example. Find 23.1% of 2000. We'll begin by partitioning 23.1% into 20%, 3% and 0.1%. We'll start by finding 20% of 2000. To do this, we will first find 10%. 2000 divided by 10 equals 200. Now that we know 10%, we can find 20%, because 20 is double 10. So we can multiply 200 by 2, which equals 400. Next we'll find 3%. We do this by first finding 1% and then multiplying by 3. To find 1% we divide by 100. So 1% of 2000 is 20. Therefore 3% must be 60. Finally, we'll find 0.1% of 2000. To find 0.1% we divide by 1000. 2000 divided by 1000 equals 2. We now know 20%, which is 400, 3%, which is 60, and 0.1%, which is 2. To find 23.1%, we add these amounts together. 400 plus 60 equals 460, plus the 2 equals 462. Here's another example. Find 47.2% of £400. We'll partition 47.2% into 40%, 7% and 0.2%. We'll start with 40%. 10% of 400 is 40. So to find 40% we multiply by 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. So 40 times 4 equals 160. Next we'll look at 7%. 1% of 400 is 4. So to find 7% we multiply by 7. 4 times 7 equals 28. Finally we'll look at 0.2%. 0.1% of 400 is 0.4. We can work this out by dividing 400 by 1000. Or, we've already found 1%, so we can simply divide this by 10 again. If 0.1% is 0.4, then 0.2% must be 0.8, because we have simply doubled it. Now that we know that 40% is 160, 7% is 28, and 0.2% is 0.8, we can add these together to find 47.2% of £400. 160 plus 28 equals 188, plus the 0.8 equals 188.8. So 47.2% of £400 is £188.80. Here's our final example. Find 84.5% of $1,200. We partition 84.5% into 80%, 4% and 0.5%. We'll start with 80%. 10% of 1,200 is 120. So to find 80%, we multiply by 8. 12 times 8 equals 96, so 120 times 8 is 960. Next we'll look at 4%. 1% of 1,200 is 12, so 4% must be 48, because 12 times 4 equals 48. Finally, we'll look at 0.5%. We already know that 1% of 1,200 is 12. 0.5 is half of 1, so we can simply halve 12. 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Now that we know that 80% is 960, 4% is 48, and 0.5% is 6. To find 84.5%, we can add these amounts together. 960 plus 48 equals 1008. 1008 plus 6 equals 1014. So 84.5% of $1,200 is $1,014. Here are some questions for you to try. Pause the video now and have a go. Question 1. Find 12.1% of 300. We can partition 12.1% into 10%, 2% and 0.1%. Starting with 10%. 10% of 300 is 30. Looking at 2%, 1% of 300 is 3, so 2% of 300 is 6. Finally, 0.1%. We already know that 1% is 3, so to find 0.1%, we can divide 3 by 10, which equals 0.3. Alternatively, we can divide 300 by 1000, which also gives us the answer 0.3. To find our final answer, we add 10%, which is 30, 2%, which is 6, and 0.1%, which is 0.3. 30 plus 6 equals 36, plus 0.3 equals 36.3. Question 2. Find 64.5% of $4,000. We partition 64.5% into 60%, 4% and 0.5%. Starting with 60%, we can find that 10% of 4,000 is 400. So to find 60%, we multiply by 6. 4 times 6 equals 24. So 400 times 6 equals 2,400. Next, we'll look at 4%. 1% of 4,000 is 40. So 4% must be 160. Finally, we'll look at 0.5%. We know that 1% of 4,000 is 40. So 0.5% must be half of that. Half of 40 is 20. To find our final answer, we add together 60%, which is 2,400, 4%, which is 160, and 0.5%, which is 20. 2,400 plus 160 is 2,560, plus 20 equals 2,580. So 64.5% of $4,000 is $2,580. Question 3. Find 43.8% of £1,500. We partition 43.8% into 40%, 3% and 0.8%. We'll start with 40%. 10% of 1,500 is 150. So 40% is 600. We multiplied by 4. We can do this by doubling and doubling again. Next, we'll look at 3%. 1% is 15, so 3% must be 45. Finally, we'll look at 0.8%. 0.1% is 1.5, To find 0.8%, we are multiplying by 8, so we can double, double and double again. Double 1.5 equals 3, double 3 equals 6, double 6 equals 12. So 1.5 times 8 equals 12. Now we know that 40% is 600, 3% is 45, and 0.8% is 12. To find 43.8%, we add these amounts together. 600 plus 45 equals 645, plus 12 equals 657. So 43.8% of £1,500 is £657. Question 4. Find 35.6% of £800. We partition 35.6% into 30%, 5% and 0.6%. We'll start with 30%. 10% of 800 is 80. 30% must therefore be 240. Next, we'll look at 5%. We know that 10% is 80. 5% is half of 10%. Therefore, 5% must be 40. Finally, we'll look at 0.6%. 0.1% of 800 is 0.8, because 800 divided by 1,000 equals 0.8. To find 0.6%, we multiply by 6. 8 times 6 equals 48, so 0.8 times 6 equals 4.8. We have found that 30% is 240, 5% is 40, and 0.6% is 4.8. To find 35.6%, we add these values together. 240 plus 40 equals 280, plus 4.8 equals 284.8. So 35.6% of £800 is £284.80. Thank you for watching. If you would like further practice, more questions are available on our website.